Hi, everybody. Welcome to Agents Confidential. I'm Yana. I have Brian here with me. And today we're going to talk about Medicarians because hopefully you're going to see Brian there next week. I will not be there, but that's okay.
It wasn't your crown.
It's not my thing.
Oh, not so
Vegas,
much the conference, it was mostly
it was
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Medicarians I thought was great, but Vegas I
Yeah.
don't need to visit.
Very overstimulating the first time you go, and I think you especially if you're an introvert like me, you need to go, like, 5 or 6 times to build up your endurance.
Yeah. Yeah. But you've been to Medicarians quite a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, I think this'll be my 4th. I was unfortunately not able to make it last year. That was the first time. So, yeah, this will be my, I wanna say 4th?
Nice. Well, you are pretty much a Medicarian's vet. So, just wanted to do a quick kind of rapid fire how to make the most of it and how to leverage going
Yeah.
to a conference like this because a lot of agents spend a lot of money to get out there and travel and hotels and the conference itself.
Yeah, it's a big investment, not only in getting their hotel and everything. I think most agents probably get a free pass from their FMO or an affiliation, but still, the rooms aren't cheap. Takes time to get there, and then all of the time spent away from your business growing that. It's a big investment. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we're just gonna kind of rapid fire go through some things to help you make the most. And the first thing is, I mean, go in with a strategy. Go in with a goal, I think. Conferences are expensive. It is an investment. Define your goal. And like Brian, what do you think agents should be trying to get out of a conference like this?
Yeah, you know what? I think there's 2 types of people, that go to conferences. There are the people that want to come away with some new knowledge, implement, new stuff, and then there's the other crowd, and I've been in both of these over the years where, there's a conference going on, I'm here to party and have a good time, you know? So, I think I fall somewhere in the middle now, but, yeah, those are typically the 2 personas that I see, and I probably hang out more with the crazy side. So this year, I've now surpassed 40, so I'll be on my best behavior.
Yep. Yeah. And I think like agents just showing up to hope something good is going to happen probably isn't the best way to go about this. Going there knowing exactly what you want. Is it like recruiting? Well, not for agents, but potentially for agents if they want to hire more downlines or building carrier relationships or learning other partnerships, that kind of thing. What other things do you think agents should be doing before then, like scheduling out their time and everything? How would you schedule out your Medicarian's trip
Yeah,
for the
actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I'm always a little late to this, but technology now with conferences, most conferences have an app. Medicarians does. I believe that's available on the Medicarians website, and the app is really awesome. You're able to go and create your own agenda and schedule. And I was going through it a couple days ago, and it was a little overwhelming because there's 2 different pathways, I believe ACA and Medicare. I think they may have even added a third one this year, but these are all overlapping. And then it's like you got to pick your favorite child, it seems like every hour. So, yeah, I went through all of the days and highlighted the ones I wanted to go to. Obviously, I think that most agents aren't going to be able to go to all of the things because many are overlapping. Again, if you don't have any type of agenda or schedule, you're probably not going to attend anything and not pick up anything out of the event.
anything that's catching your eye?
Yeah, it's weird. I have this weird relationship with AI right now. I was very early to adopt AI, and as of recent, I'm kind of feeling a little overexposed and creeped out by AI. But with that being said, I definitely am interested in how to stay ahead with our industry. And I know last year there were a ton of new AI vendors. I missed out on that, so I'm super excited to nerd out in the vendor expo area, speaking with those new vendors.
Yeah. That was the most fun, I thought. From like all of Medicarians, the vendor expo area was pretty cool.
You know what? It's my favorite too. It's where you get to put a face with a name. You run into more people there. Honestly, I would go to Medicarians just for the expo booth myself, and we're actually going to be doing some interviews. The Agents Confidential podcast is going to go and interview as many of the vendors as possible. So if you miss out on going, you could learn about what you missed.
Yeah. Go to the expo with Agents Confidential. Yeah. And then who do you think that agents should be talking to? I know in my mind, there's 4 categories. There's carriers, FMOs, vendors, and then, like, other agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is going to have their personal preference. When I go to Medicarians, I don't necessarily have this like defined agenda. Like, I'm not there to recruit. I'm really sincerely there just to meet people, understand how, their business differs from mine, implement new strategies. Um, but yeah, I probably get the most out of the expo hall. I typically I feel like a kid after like the week after, like I'm going through all the cards and all the pamphlets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this thing. I got to go research and nerd out on it. So that's the high that I get, I think, from the event. But I'm probably in the minority there. I like goofy stuff. So
Yeah. No, it's definitely, I mean, it's cool to go and see what's new out there and, like, what can help your business grow and scale. And I think another thing that might be a little bit underrated is talking to other agents,
yeah, absolutely.
because you're gonna be in a space with hundreds of other agents. So, you can talk about what's working, what's not working. Maybe you're in a different state, you start to, you know, get referrals or send referrals to them. You can build those partnerships.
Yeah, I
And
would say that the agent networking is probably a close second for me.
yeah,
Um, you know, and it's never really planned or anything. I usually will meet somebody new at a food court or something like that, or in the hallway. We'll run into each other and conversation gets going. And hey, oh my gosh, I'm from this state. Oh, I know an agent from there, or we know the same carrier rep, and usually, finding some commonalities and making a new friend. And yeah, that's probably one of the funnest things about Medicarians, and also just learning about what worked for them, what didn't work for them, kind of putting your ego aside. I mean, I've talked to agents where, I'm a veteran to this industry. I've been doing it for 23 years, and I'm always humbled going there and learning from an agent that's been at it for 2 years, and they're implementing some marketing thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. So,
yeah,
putting your ego to the side and be willing to listen to everybody, I think is a good skill.
yeah, for sure. And something I definitely wanted to touch on in this episode is how to network without being awkward. I feel like it can be really intimidating. I know, like, the first day I was at Medicarians, it was intimidating.
Well, it's funny that you are asking me,
Yeah.
probably the most socially awkward dude outside of my natural environment. So, I definitely can give you an idea of what that looks like from an introvert standpoint. But if
Bring
we
it
if we
down.
had somebody like Eric on here,
Yeah,
he just is a social butterfly and makes
yeah,
friends wherever he goes.
yeah. I feel like you are always really good at networking in big events like that, honestly, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
And honestly, like, the goal isn't always just to network better. I think to make it feel like a normal, regular, just high quality conversation instead of something transactional is the best way to go about it. And I feel like that's how you
Yeah.
approach that. Is
Yeah.
just like, let's just have fun,
Yeah.
have a chat. We're good.
Yeah, I think the worst is, most of the attendees there are agents, and, there are people that are there to recruit. I don't think it's the time and place for that. I've never felt comfortable with that. Of course, I run an FMO myself, and we don't even have a booth there because it just feels awkward, like you're trying to compete for everybody's attention. But there are, I know several people with good intentions that do really good with recruiting at these events. I think it just depends on what you're trying to get out of it. But yeah, I find that it's typically the networking thing they've made really easy with the app as well too, to where you can go in and search kind of the personas or that you're looking for, whether it's an FMO, a carrier rep, a vendor, something like that. And then you could send them a request for a meeting and really schedule that out. I've done a little bit of that. I've talked to some people that are like, yeah, I've got like 30 or 40 little networking sessions, and that feels a little excessive to me, but who am I to say?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like, instead of overthinking all of these things, you can start by asking something default or, like, have 2 or 3 default questions like, "Hey, how's the conference been for you so far?" Or, like, "What's been the most useful thing you've seen?" Or just like, "Is this your first time at Medicarians, or have you been before?" Like, having a few stock questions just to,
Yeah.
like that are really easy to answer for the other person just kinda helps break down that wall.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way. I usually ask people what their favorite thing to do in Vegas is. I always like finding the little speakeasies and the little place, like the awesome food joints that you maybe don't get a whole lot of love. So, being that I think I've been to Vegas now probably 20 times, I kind of get bored with it and kind of want to go and find things that I've never experienced there before.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite restaurant in Vegas?
Um, you're gonna laugh. I don't think it's there anymore. It was a buffet, and it was at the Cosmopolitan. I went there with my wife, I don't know, about 10 years ago. For me, a buffet is like a competition. And this buffet, I mean, it had, all the seafood, all the steak, and it was just all quality stuff. And I think it was like $70. And honestly, it was just phenomenal food. So I'll probably get ostracized for saying that, but the buffet formerly at the Cosmo, maybe it's still there, was phenomenal.
You'll have to find out if it's still there and make a visit there.
But it's funny, when you start talking about Vegas, you start getting stuff in your like social media feeds about restaurants and stuff. And there are a couple places, I can't remember their names. I think they're off the strip that do seafood and have like huge steaks and like just butter all over the place. And yeah, my arteries are shaking just thinking about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I think also something else I just want to quick touch on for anyone listening who maybe is like just going to this network, or maybe this is your first time networking, you're a newer agent. Something that's a little underrated when it comes to networking is having a graceful exit.
Yes,
So, having a nice exit from the conversation, being like awkwardness can come from just like not knowing when to stop or like
sure.
when to like or what to say to just be done with a conversation.
Yeah.
But I have some things for these agents who
I'd love to hear because I feel like I'm really bad at this.
I feel as I was typing these, I was like, I feel like Brian is really gonna like these. um, so I have 4 of them. I'll just read them through quick. But one of them is, "Hey, I don't wanna hold you up, but I'm really glad that we connected. Have a great time," or something like that. And then, "Let's connect on LinkedIn. I'd love to keep this conversation going." And then another one, "I'm gonna catch the next session, but let's connect. Like, are you on LinkedIn?" Or I think at Medicarians, I think last year they had, like, in your,
And the lanyards, yeah,
yeah,
they were like
you can,
where
like
you just touch them or something,
yeah,
and
you can just tap them and then it,
yeah.
like, connects, which is pretty cool. And then the last one, "I don't wanna rush this conversation. Let's pick it up after the conference, and then you guys can connect and just be on your way."
Or my favorite, the Irish goodbye, you just slowly start,
Slowly back
disappearing in the
away.
background, yeah, that's,
That's
uh, that's a Brian Platty special right there,
I think
so
that's the awkward way to go about that. Oh, but yeah, and also just make the most of while you're there, make the most of conversations, don't add too much pressure on it, and just enjoy. You're there to meet other people, so ask questions and move
yeah, I
on.
think a big part of that too is actually following up when you get back. I always come back with a stack of cards and information, and I'm usually going and connecting with them on LinkedIn or what have you. You know, so many good connections are made there. Whether it's a technology partner, a vendor, something like that, where you never implement it because you threw your bag of stuff away when you got home. And so I always I've never really scheduled this out, but it might not be a bad idea. Like the day that you get back, maybe just schedule out 3 or 4 hours where you're going to go through all of your stuff and make those connections. Otherwise, the next Medicarians comes along and you never implemented anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and even just, like, checking your LinkedIn at the end of the day and quick sending them a message like, "Hey, it was great to meet you today, like, I'll catch
Absolutely.
up next week." Like, something like that, or get an email or, um yeah, and definitely keep those cards. Keep those cards organized, like, bring a folder and be like, "This is my to-do list on Monday." But
It's funny. I'm always impressed when somebody follows up with me. So I like to reciprocate that as much as possible. Um, but I take people more serious. Like I feel like that initial conversation, there's only surface level things that you typically can talk about. But if somebody does follow up through, I'm like, you know what, this is somebody I probably want to do business with or want to interact with more in the future.
I know we've kinda talked about them a little bit, like the expo hall and downloading the app, scheduling meetings. What about after parties and
Yeah, I
events?
mean, that's why a lot of us are there or, maybe you don't get a spring break or whatever and and that's your spring break for the year type thing. I know I kind of treat it like that sometimes. It's I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth here. Yes, and it's just from my personal experience. You want to go with an agenda. You want to schedule stuff out, but you also want to be a little spontaneous. I mean, it is Vegas, and I find that you're going to get invited to, an FMO is doing this meetup, a vendor's doing this thing, and if you have everything scheduled out, you're going to miss a lot of those spontaneous moments that you could capture, and it never fails. I mean, I know the first year that I went to Medicarians, I was very militant about like scheduling everything out, um, and I end up doing nothing. I end up just it was funner just to be spontaneous and have a good time. So I don't know. I think there's a happy medium there. I would say uh schedule out your day like during the conference hours and things like that, but the evenings try to keep those open because you're going to get invited to dinner. You're probably going to meet somebody that is going to invite you to something. And then, yeah, if you're sticking around for Wednesday, I believe they have the big concert. I'm not sure even what they're doing this
Yeah,
year.
I was gonna ask who is it this year? I think it
I
was
should
Florida
know
last
that.
year.
Wasn't it Flow Rider or something
Yeah.
last year, I think? So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's funny because, I am a rock and roll dude. I play guitar and, going to, like, a R&B type of concert was, like, a new experience, for me the first time or the second time I went to Meditarians, and it was so much fun, like, it was just, like, very different for me from, like, going there and listening to a guitar solo or something like that.
Yeah, and then you guys are gonna do a little, like, happy hour?
Yes, that's gonna
Uh,
be Tuesday, and I should have this in front of me. I believe it's 5 to 7. We'll put that in the show notes. How about that?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
We're just
definitely come, stop by, say
yeah,
hi, have a drink on us or 2, and, always a good time.
yeah, for sure. And then something else I'm curious to know which one you're gonna use. AI note taker.
Yeah.
Are you gonna use
Um,
a specific one this year?
yeah, you know what? Let me pull up my phone because I really like Noteflow. That's, one that I've used a lot. But there was one that I really looked at that I liked. I think it was called like B or something like that, that had like a pendant. I think that's kind of cool because it's always kind of going, but the one on your phone, at least the one I have, you have to like physically remember to turn it on. But yeah, I think that if you're sitting there like really writing notes and everything, you miss a lot. And we're in a age now where you just turn it on and let it do its thing and give you the recap. And I find myself more likely to implement stuff if I'm not having to sit there meticulously writing everything out.
Yeah. And I think it can help you to catch different things that maybe you forgot about. The AI is it's pretty good at taking
It's
notes.
creepy, but it's so useful at the same
It's
time. It's
so
like a
useful.
slippery slope. I
Yeah,
hate it, but I love it at the same time.
I know. I know. And or just like, take pictures, jot down some notes in your phone. If you are a superstar, maybe you bring your laptop and update your CRM.
Mm.
Yeah. If you don't capture things, then it's just entertainment. And it is fun, but at the same time, you are there for business, but yeah. And then the next thing I had on here was follow-up, but we talked about that. And then I just have some reminders, just some basic things here. One good relationship that you build at a conference like this can equal so much in long-term value. So do your best to talk to as many people as you can and just like build those relationships because you never know what it's going to lead to.
Absolutely. Like, I've had so many of those weird interactions where I met somebody 10 years ago and then they pop back up somewhere in my life, or in my business, and it's always fun making those connections.
Yeah. Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. And then also one system improvement can help you save time all year round. So take note and don't be afraid to try something new. And then also one partnership that you make can also lead to so many other referrals down the road.
Yeah, that's a really good, thought, there, and something that just kinda sparked another thought in my mind was, maybe you're there, your primary focus is Medicare, and maybe you're there to learn more about ACA, or maybe you just want to refer that business out. It could be a great place to build those referral partnerships with agents that do ACA, or obviously that whole thing in reverse there too. Same with annuities, ancillary stuff like that. I think Medicarians has gotten to this point where there's a lot of attendees that aren't even really in the Medicare and ACA space. I'm seeing more stuff on the annuity side. I think employee benefits group people are starting to come to events like this as well too. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities to build referral partnerships. And how do you put a price on those?
Yeah, exactly. And then you also mentioned something in the notes. Get sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you talk
I'm
about it?
saying this to myself. I started in the business when I was 20, and going to conferences, it was like a competition, How many days straight can we stay up and get sloshed as much as possible? The older that I've gotten, I can't hang anymore. So, if you are an elder like me, over 40,
Yeah.
or maybe even under, if you're there, if your objective is to get the most out of it, definitely get some sleep. I've been to so many of these events, and probably why I can't think of some of the specifics off the top of my head, because I probably don't have those brain cells left. But one of the travel things that I learned, and I not great at implementing this, I'm really going to try this time, is try to keep my same sleep schedule as the time zone that I was in, or that I'm
Hard.
normally in. It's a 2 or 3 hour difference for me, so probably going to be difficult. But yeah, I'm going this year really wanting to get a lot out of it. I've done all the partying and had all the fun, and definitely going to have some of that, but really looking to make some connections, and I want to be aware of what I'm doing.
Yeah, sleep is important. I think I missed the after party last year because I was just so tired.
Yeah.
I need sleep. I just
And
need
the other
sleep.
thing is, it's very mentally overstimulating, just
It
Vegas
is.
in general.
Yeah.
And I think conferences are, and Medicarians has gotten so big where it's just so much coming at you. Um, like, I need to like just chill out and mentally unwind. I know many people thrive on that. I am not. Like, I have like this like people in crowded halls and all that type of stuff. I'm
Yeah.
just excited to get back and decompress and start over the next day. So,
Yeah. For sure. Okay, I have a couple more questions for you, Brian.
all right.
But one of them is what are the biggest missed opportunities that you see at conferences?
Um, Kind of stuff that we've already talked about. I would say, um, going and not checking out the expo hall. I think that there's so many opportunities there. Go there thinking like you probably have holes in your processes, for your agency or your business, and go there looking for solutions. You're probably going to find them, whether it's marketing, whether it's a CRM thing, whether it's a licensing thing. Go in there trying to find a solution for maybe the problems that you have with your company. And then I would say definitely attend as many of the sessions as possible. A lot of people More people than you would think do not go to any of the sessions, and I think there's a lot of great knowledge that can be had there. I remember, it's like the first or second one that we went to. I'm not gonna name any names, but there was a group of agents that came, did not have tickets for Medicarians, and just hung out around the conference, and of which I thought was hilarious, but at the same time, you're not really soaking up, all of the value that you can get there.
Yeah, and then one last question, do you have a moment where a conference changed your business? Or are there countless?
You're asking me to go back and, I'm
To the
brain
days
that
where
I
you
killed
lost
many
brain
years ago.
cells?
Nothing nothing specific. I typically walk away from every or come back from every conference. My goal is always to implement one thing. And if there's more than that, then great, more value. There was a conference I went to many, many years ago. I think it was for annuities, and this is probably like 2010-ish. And the whole conference was about seminar marketing and dinner seminars, things like that, which is pretty popular with annuities and stuff. And I went in there primarily as a Medicare agent, not so much an annuity agent, but was able to walk away with all of the information on how to like implement like best practices for running a seminar. And at the time, I mean, people really weren't doing Medicare seminars, not like they are now, where you have vendors and everything that you could hire. But I kind of retrofitted everything that I learned about seminar marketing at that annuity conference and implemented it for Medicare, and it worked really really well, and brought in a lot of business from it. And honestly, if I were in personal production still now, I think seminar marketing would be a big pillar to my marketing.
Okay, cool. Any final thoughts on Medicarians? Anything else that we haven't talked about that you want people to
Um, I would say, man, I'm really excited just to meet people from the Facebook group. That's really grown over the years. This past year, again, we started that group with really no agenda. It was just a place for agents to come and learn from each other. So excited to meet a lot of the people in there. If you see me there, don't hesitate to come tap me on the shoulder. I don't bite, and yeah, just looking forward to meeting everybody.
Okay, cool. Well, you guys have a great time, have a blast, and, hopefully, if you're an agent, you're listening to this on your plane out. So, Brian, we'll see you guys there.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.